Do you know about the infamous luxury brand Chanel? It has got every kind of exquisite product, from ready-to-wear clothes to perfumes, you name it. But did you know, hidden beneath all this glamour, there is a history that might surprise you? Early life. It all began with a young woman called Gabrielle Coco Chanel from Saumur, France. She grew up in a decent household. After her mother passed away, her father decided to disappear and left her. To survive and make a living, Gabrielle took up sewing and got really good at it. In her younger years, Chanel performed as a cabaret singer for happening clubs across Vichy and Moulins in France. It was her interactions with wealthy and influential people during that time that would shape her future in the fashion industry. But her actual breakthrough happened in the early 1910s when she set foot in the fashion world. She started making hats that were designed in a way that impressed the locals. These hats were elegant, unique, and extremely comfortable, which gave her the idea to open her first boutique just 3 years later. With her sewing skills, Chanel thought, why stop at making hats? She started designing clothes from there on. During that time, the norm was wearing clothes that were tight and uncomfortable, so Chanel went on to do the exact opposite, making clothes that were comfortable and simple. Then in the early 20s came the real game changer. The legendary little black dress was introduced. The women went crazy. The dress was so high in demand that it was hard to keep one in stock. To get the attention off of it, the famous Chanel suit was created with a stylish collarless jacket and a skirt hitting just above the knee, and that too became an instant success. In 1921, Coco Chanel launched her first fragrance, Chanel No. 5. But Coco didn't stop there. She had bigger plans. So, after a few years, Chanel expanded into accessories, jewelry, and skincare. The house of Chanel started to grow and became known as a brand that sells luxury and timeless styles. World War I opportunity. The World War started and there was chaos everywhere, especially in the fashion industry. The raw material was not available and brands started freaking out. Chanel saw this as an opportunity to try out the new jersey fabric. This stuff was already being used for undergarments, but Chanel had an idea to turn it into something else. Turns out she was right. She ended up making these super comfortable and practical clothes for women using the fabric that turned out to be a complete revolution. You see, back in those days, women were all about freedom and practicality. They wanted something fancy that they would feel comfortable in and were ready to ditch those totally uncomfortable outfits. Chanel's idea became a huge hit, making her the queen of fashion, and women everywhere adored her for creating stylish yet wearable clothes that fit their everyday needs. Tragedy to fashion icon. Death of business partner, lover, to Chanel No. 5. Later, Gabrielle Chanel met a wealthy and influential man named Arthur Boyd Capel. Capel was not only her lover, but also her business partner, who was not only a great source of emotional support for her, but helped her financially too. Tragedy struck when Capel died in a car accident in 1919. Chanel was devastated by Capel's death and came up with the idea to design a perfume that would be a lasting testament to their love. The result was an iconic perfume that she named Chanel No. 5, one of the most famous and endearing fragrances in the world. After its launch in 1921, it just boomed and gained popularity for its unique scent and elegant packaging. It is often described as a floral aldehyde fragrance, blending different floral notes with aldehydes to create a sophisticated and timeless aroma. Unfair deal. Contract with Pierre Widermann. In 1924, Gabrielle Chanel made a deal with Widerheim brothers, Pierre and Paul, for her perfumes to be available for the whole world. The deal wasn't exactly fair, which caused some issues. Since she was the brains behind the perfumes and the one who created them with her own vision and talent, while the Wertheimers were mainly providing the financial backing, she thought, why should they be the ones who would get a greater share in the profits? The Wertheimers end up with a 70% stake in the perfume business, leaving Chanel with only a 30% stake. And if you think that's messed up, wait till you hear this. As time went on, Chanel's perfumes started gaining massive popularity and started generating some serious cash. So, with a 30% stake, Chanel would get just a little bit of cash, while Wertheimers would take most of the profit simply because of this unfair deal. Because they had more too, They gave Chanel absolutely no say in how the business should be run and what changes should be made to the brand that she started. Chanel logo interlock C unveil. In 1925, Chanel came up with the trademark logo for Chanel. These two mirrored C's became one of the most recognizable symbols in the fashion world. This embodiment of luxury and sophistication is a design that stood the test of time. World War II affair with the German. Relationship with Hans Gunther von Dinklage. Here's a little controversy for you guys. During World War II times were tough, and there were clashes between Germany and France. In the middle of all this, Chanel was having a secret affair with a German man. Why is this so bad? Hans Gunther von Dinklage was a German military officer, and some even think he was working for the intelligence as a Nazi. Some people were even talking about her being involved with the Nazi government and working as a spy herself and being involved in espionage activities. Post-war controversy. Arrested but not charged. This is where things get a little fishy. After Paris was liberated in 1944, different authorities were formed to deal with spies and people who were working against the country, trying to help their enemies. It wasn't long before Coco Chanel found herself in hot water. Because of the accusations of her working against the country's interest, she got arrested by the Free French Purge Committee, a body responsible for investigating and prosecuting individuals accused of collaboration with the German occupiers. Even though she was detained, Chanel could not be charged with any crime, and since the exact reason for her bail isn't clear, there are many speculations. One of these theories was Chanel was well connected and had a lot of friends in high places who could make things happen. The people assigned with this sort of stuff had some members of the Free French government, who may have intervened on her behalf to make sure she was released. But there's still a chance that the evidence against her wasn't really enough to charge her with anything. The fact that she got arrested and released without facing any charges doesn't automatically mean she was squeaky clean. You know how it goes, right? It's all a bit blurry, and we may never know for sure what really went down. Fled to Switzerland. So, judging from the complicated scenario and people accusing her of espionage, Chanel thought it would be best if she just packed her bags and left for Switzerland in 1944. While in the Swiss lands, Chanel took a break from her fashion business because this time was for her to chill out and live a more low-key life, staying away from headlines and especially the famous fashion brand that would usually attract a lot of attention to her. But this is Chanel we're talking about. This lady just can't stay away. So, in the 50s, she decided to make a comeback with a game plan and something spectacular. Back to France in 1954 to reopen her fashion house. The war is over, and so is Chanel's self-imposed exile. In 1954, she made a bold decision to go back to France and get back in the game. She reopened her fashion house with determination and perseverance. The relaunch came with some new amazing collections that showcased her timeless and innovative designs. Her return to the fashion scene was met with both curiosity and anticipation, as the industry was eager to see what she came up with and would bring to the table after her break. And, as you must have guessed, the re-establishment of her fashion house in 1954 was met with success and marked a new chapter in her career. This comeback showed her resilience and her undeniably creative vision. The fashion world welcomed her back, and she continued to make a significant impact on the industry. Her fashion was not welcomed in France, but was popular in America. When Coco Chanel first introduced her fashion in France, not everyone was on board with it because of the whole mix-up and her running off to another country. But America really liked her stuff. They were all over it and loved every bit of it. Now we move on to 1971. Coco Chanel passed away, and in came Karl Lagerfeld to become the one responsible to take Chanel to a whole nother level, making it even bigger and better than before. To this day, Chanel is going strong. Guess who owns the company now? None other than the Wiedermann family, who have been holding on to the brand since the very beginning. Alien and Gerard Wertheimer are the names you need to know. To sum it all up, Coco Chanel started it all. Karl Lagerfeld made it epic, and Wertheimer family are the ones who keep the legacy alive. What do you think about Chanel? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed today's video, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to be always up to date with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.